Evening, everyone. It's 6:29, and this is your closing comment for Thursday, January 12th. It is video number 1619. I'm going to try and talk quickly and keep this short. Okay, let's just start with the chart on the screen. Um, this is Bitcoin. As you can see, it's been in a long-term projected decline after hitting a high here at 69,355, and that was in I think it was November of 2021. Since then, it's had this lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, same way that we've seen a couple of other charts like this. Um, and it has also had these moves up off those lows. So we made a recovery low, and then we ran up, made a new high, came back down and tested it. But as soon as we broke here around 47,000, that was the first signal to sell. The second one would have been this same type of a situation, slightly higher low, slightly higher low, higher high, but not getting past the break to the downside. And of course, when it broke below there at 38,700, we immediately moved to 25,000. So we came down pretty hard, rallied back up, could not get through the prior bottoms, broke to the downside, and moved from 28,000 and change to 20,025. Remember, this is a weekly chart, so these are pretty swift moves. Rallied back up again, couldn't make it through, broke to the downside, higher low, couldn't get it through again, broke to the downside. Now, I've been watching this and expecting it to break to the downside again. It's pretty plain and simple that we have a series of lower highs and lower lows. So if we do, I'll redo this chart either overnight or tomorrow and see, because what we've done here on this weekly is we've run right into the 20-week moving average. We have made a slightly higher high than we did here back at 18.4, but we still haven't broken through this area that should be resistance. So I will keep you up to date. The reason that I showed you this chart first was primarily because I wanted to mention Coinstar, COIN. And today we had a pretty monumental move there. And I didn't mean to say Coinstar. Those are the people who count your change and charge you 9% in the grocery store. Coinbase. And what was interesting about this to me was that Coinbase, which traded as low as 31.55 a week ago, traded as high today as 47.65. So for the week, the stock is, the close I think was 46.40, and for the week that was up $13.32. That's a huge percentage, and frankly, I think that Bitcoin chart really is the reason for it. Okay, so everybody knows by now the inflation number came out reasonably benign, and I actually completely forgot that today being Thursday, it was claims day, and that was inconsequential. Also, right around that 200,000 mark, I think it was 206,000, and continuing claims about 1,700,000. So pretty much in order. We took off like a rocket this morning, but by the end of the day, the Dow was up less than a percent, actually up 217.65. The Nasdaq, which was much stronger in the morning, and fell back, and in fact uh, rallied again, closed up $70 or 0.64%, just same way. To give you an idea, advanced declines were 2.5 to 1 on NASDAQ and 3 to 1 in the NYSE. Volume ballooned up again to 5.5 billion. Yesterday was 5.3. The day before was 5. And at the end of last week, we were trading 4.8. By the way, tomorrow should be somewhat of a quiet day because Monday is Martin Luther King Day and the market is closed. Okay, we also had the S&P up 13, which was way off the high. But this was a very choppy day. I mean, before the open, we were, up 17 to down 26 to up 22. I mean, the market was all over the place. Very hectic trade. But the bottom line was that the VIX was down $2.26, which was 11%. So that's pretty healthy. And the Dow stocks were interesting in that they weren't all up the way that these big days have been. They were 18 up and 12 down, and the leaders were Boeing adding 42, Goldman Sachs adding 37. These are Dow points. Salesforce CRM adding 31 and Caterpillar adding 28. On the downside, I didn't really see anything more than down about 13 Dow points. So a pretty interesting day. I mention all this for a number of reasons, but the most important is that aside from these big names and things you'd expect to be moving on a day like today, we've had a huge resurgence in the meme stocks. I mean, it's just been unbelievable. I was looking at Bed Bath & Beyond a week ago. We were talking about it in the Discord room, and in point of fact, it was $1.60. Today it was almost $6. It was up 53% today to close at, let's see, $5.39, up $1.90. We had some of the others, Jan, an old favorite of ours, up 10%. Wish, which is Contact Logic, up 11%. I mean, all of these things were back in vogue. Virgin Galactic is getting a new CEO. That's 553 up $1.24, 28%. So, all of these names have all of a sudden come back. And I mentioned that because that's not usually what we see on a market bottom. We usually see this kind of elevated action in high risk companies near tops. So I'll just let that go. Okay, gold was up another $20. We made on the 85-cent AGQs. We got executions between 125 and 145. So that was an overnight trade. And, we made 60 or 80%. So not bad. That Bitcoin chart that I showed you had Bitcoin at 19,155, up 1,500. So that's pretty major. The dollar was down 93 cents. The bonds were up 1.5 points, and the silver, as I said, was up 52 cents, and we were in the 2 times silver. The other biggest news around clearly was Nelson Peltz wanting a board seat at Disney. Um, he's been very successful. He tends to um, he tends to be in good companies. He tends to help them. This is his second foray into Disney, but the stock did close 99.81, and it actually traded above 100 for the first time in quite a while. All right, everyone, I'll be back first thing in the morning. Hope everyone had as good a day as I did, and I'll talk to you first